Hello, welcome everybody to another episode of Arthur's Roundtable. Thanks for joining us today. Uh, Actually, Martin and I, if I'm going to get this right, so forgive me, we met because of Intro, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and Intro, if you all don't necessarily know, is a firm Silicon Valley that is done a really good job of connecting people and you know, if you're somebody that wants to speak to somebody and they're on intro, then you just send an invitation, pay a few bucks, have a conversation, and then take it from there. And so it's been fascinating for me because I met some very interesting people, including Martin here with his company Legacy. And so as a result, we're doing this podcast because he's got not only interesting things independent of family office and family office adjacent type stuff, but it applies because many family offices would like to tell their story for the next generation. And so that's one of the reasons we're talking. Um, but fascinating evolution of business as well. So why don't we start at the beginning, Martin? Thanks again for doing this.
Thank you for having me, Arthur.
So tell us how this all came about.
So, Legacy came about in 2023. We were working with my co-founder, Sophie, at another startup, and we started having these interviews for unrelated reasons. And in these interviews about people's work, it started becoming really apparent that they wanted to talk about their life. And when they were done, they really wanted to have that video. And as we started researching and going into this idea popped into our heads. And we started, really researching and talking to people, seeing if this is something that would be interesting. And what we found is a resounding yes. This isn't something completely new. This has been going on. I mean, filming interviews isn't something new, but it was always very outdated. And we needed to find a way to make these interviews so that they persist and they evolve, and it's really something valuable for the family. And what we've built, Legacy, is a way to make these beautiful interviews about your life, about your past, about your present, about your thoughts on the future, about your family, your kids, your parents, and have that be an heirloom that lasts for generations. It's something for you, it's something for your kids and your grandkids. And it's also an evolving repository of your memories. This can be a one time thing, but for many, many families, this is something that they do as a yearly ritual. Many families do the Christmas
Yeah,
family
the
photo.
Christmas update card, right? Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. This is something like that, and it has become something like that for many families. Um, the getting together with a filmmaker is often the same one, so it's like getting back together with an old friend and sharing how this year has been. Um, they get together, they film this interview, and they can compare their answers through the years, right? They can share stories of their life, um, but we can ask the same questions through the years and see how their answer develops, how their kids grow, right? So it's really something beautiful that comes up every year, and it's really valuable for many many families. Yeah.
One of the things that we talked about when we first spoke was that often when interviewing is not new, but you have managed to figure out how to go in and do it in one day and then get the contact, go up and do post-production, and then, in a short period of time and only one day of filming, create something that was, beautiful. And, I can't tell you how many times we filmed things and it was going to edit and it never happened and it just sat there, right? So editing's hard, right?
I think the most tragic thing with this kind of interview is many people have the intention to do it. Okay, let's just put up the phone and talk for a bit. I'll interview my dad while he's still healthy. I'll interview my kids and have this as a memory. And the terrible thing is I never get around to it. I never got around to editing, and it just sat there. and maybe the phone became obsolete and now it's not there, or maybe the file got corrupted, or maybe it's a VHS and it's been sitting in
Right.
a drawer for years.
Yeah, there's lots of that.
And
Right.
that's
Yeah.
right. So we really wanted to find a solution for this. And the people who hire these interviews are usually very busy, right? And they're family people, and they have to take care of their kids. And having a documentary crew come to your home, um, do their best work, which is bringing a truckload of stuff and turning your house upside down, making it into a studio, spending the whole day there, charging you a ton of money, of course, is a bit much. So knowing this and studying what the pains and what the wants of our users were, we found this way to make it really easy, really enjoyable. The interview in itself has to be a very enjoyable experience. Um, we're there in the morning, we're gone before lunch, right? And you get this beautiful interview, not through a drive link, not through a VHS that will sit in a drawer, but through a beautiful platform that we've built, um, with having this in mind, which is this is going to be a developing repository of your memories, and the features and the quality of life features have to be there. It has to be really comfortable to watch. If it's a 1 hour interview, each different section that we do with the family is maybe an hour of video per clip. Um, we don't want you to have to watch everything from the beginning to see that part that you liked. Everything is timestamped. You can jump back and forth. We give you different clips so that you're tempted to go in different years, and also you can jump between the years and see how your answer changes. So
And this
we
is
really,
technology that
yeah.
you've developed, or just because so much is being developed now with AI and so forth, is it putting household items together, and or is it the platform proprietary?
So each individual piece of the platform isn't proprietary, right? We use the best tools available to create something that didn't exist previously, as most things now are, right? There's
Right.
nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
But when we went out to find a platform, because of course, starting out, it would have been better for us to find someone to fix this for us.
Right.
And the reason we built it is because we didn't find it. Um, we wanted to find a platform that would be comfortable for people to watch, and the things we found were essentially a Google Drive that looked a bit better.
Right.
Um, but this didn't satisfy our needs and our users' needs. If you want to sit in the couch once a year and watch the interview back with your family, and browse through these questions and through these stories, you can't do it with any other platform. That's why we built ours. It would have been far, less expensive to not build the platform, but it wouldn't be giving the kind of luxury experience that we want. And that's on everything in Legacy. It's not only the platform. When coming up with the interview questions, we were very conscious that there's not one set of directive questions that will fit everyone's life. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So how do we do it so that it fits everyone's life? Well, luckily, I have a background in engineering and design, and this is something that I've studied very particularly, because for user study, you need to empathize with someone whose life is very different from yours and whose perspective is very different from yours. You want their opinion on your products, and if you ask them, "Do you like this?" They will probably say yes, because saying yes is good, when
And it's
actually what I
uncomfortable
need,
to say no, right?
right?
Yeah.
They want to do a good job and they want to help you, and yes is good. But no, I need you to say you need to improve this. But that's never going to come out of them. You have to find a way to look for that. This technique is called, or this skill, it's called ethnography. It is also used for humanitarian research. again, when you want to help someone whose life is so different from yours, you can't say like, "Hey, how can I help you?" Because they won't know what to
Yeah.
say. And you can't ask them, "What do you eat for breakfast?" Because breakfast may not be an option. How do you ask someone a question whose life is so different from yours without biasing their answers? Our questions are so loaded that the only way is to ask open-ended questions and then guide the answers through. That is exactly what we did for legacy. When we asked about your childhood, we can't ask specific questions because everyone's childhood is different. But if we open up a stream of thought and then we help you and we guide you through it with follow-up questions, we get a result that is, first of all, very seamless. We edit it so that the interviewer's voice isn't included in the video. And it's just you very eloquently sharing your life story. Um, you jump from story to story very fluidly, and we're able to cut it in a way that really helps share that story. By the end of these interviews, most people say a couple of things. First is that felt really good. This feels almost like therapy. I've gotten that many, many times. Um, but also, and the thing I think I'm most proud of is most people say, um, this was an awesome conversation, which it most definitely wasn't a conversation
Right. But that's how it
because
made them feel, right?
it
Super
felt to them like
interesting.
a
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, the film crew is up to this point was somebody that you outsourced, and then the interviewer is somebody who's been trained by you. Is that fair to say?
Yes, or we actually train the filmmakers themselves to do these interviews. Many are documentary filmmakers. They are used to going into new spaces and adapting to lighting conditions and sound, and also looking for the story. They care about the story, they care about you. So going into this interview, this kind of interview, and training them on it is super interesting, and they really like it. So many of these interview teams are a one-man band. Some bring a PA, but we keep the teams very small, and we bring minimal equipment because one of the things that can bias these answers is being intimidating.
Intimidated by, oh, wait a
Most
minute, I'm on
people,
TV, I'm on camera. People who aren't accustomed to being in the spotlight, tend to be
to tense
intimidated.
up.
That's the right word. Yep.
If we have fewer people, you can connect better, right? Sometimes it helps to have someone check that the cameras are all rolling and that nothing's going, so that you're not checking and
Yeah.
um, drawing their attention to it. But the smaller the crew, the more intimate the conversation can be. There's also subtle things like we don't have anyone else in the room because if you're sharing your life story and your partner is there, you're probably going to steer your life experience to your shared experience,
Right.
which is awesome, of course, but we want your side of things.
Yeah.
And we're very conscious of those things. And that is from loads of experience doing 1,000 of these interviews and also training on these methods. So, yeah.
Very cool. So, but before we hit the record button, we talked a little bit about how your business has evolved. So, uh, give an example of what your typical customer was like before this last iteration of it, evolution, and then what it looks like now. And
So,
also the tactics, like important
mm,
how you've managed to have the film crew be the business development people as well, right?
so before the client was the family, right? Um, it tends to be for a few different reasons. It tends to be um, business owners, sometimes CEOs, with young families, right? People who are between I would say late 20s to early 50s tends to be what our usual customer is. Sometimes the kids will buy this for their adult parents, for their grown parents. And the film crew was, freelancers who we would call and send out. They would send us the files and we'd be done and we'd share the final result, and that would be that. But
So
the feedback
let's
we,
tell the
yeah,
group, I'm sorry, Martin. Just
yeah, yeah.
so we put a, context is this a $2,000 thing or a $15,000 thing, right?
Right. So if you before Legacy, if you wanted to hire a documentary crew, it might be 10, 15,000. With Legacy, because of how we built it, this can be a $5,000 interview, and and it's going to be so much more enjoyable. That is the kind of price range we manage. It depends on the filmmaker as well, and as I said, it tends to be people with young families and grown parents. One of the motivations is also not only that my kids are growing and this is a fleeting moment that I want to capture, but also my parents are getting older and they're still healthy. They can share their story, and my parents and my kids may never get to meet as adults, and talk about adult stuff.
Yeah.
So capturing that is super important to them, and having that be something that their kids can watch when they're older, that becomes another, of the main drives to get these interviews. And through all of this, the main feedback we got from filmmakers, um, which were again freelance workers who we would hire just for that interview, and then they would wait for the next one. First set of feedback was, I love this. I love doing this. I would love to do this every day if I can. Um, and the other is, I have my own clients who would love this, and can I sell it to them? And yes, of course, we need to find a way. We need to find a way to sell it to them. And so we built a certification program where instead of being the ones who make all the sales, which mainly come, I should say, by word of mouth. It's something that it's it's private, it's sensitive. Having someone completely unknown coming to your home, talking to your kids, might not be entirely comfortable, which we of course understand. So most of the sales come from personal recommendations. If your siblings say, "Hey, I did this and this was amazing. You will love this person. Go ahead." You'll be,
More inclined.
you'll
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
more inclined to do it. So that was our main force, not advertising, not it was that personal recommendations. But with filmmakers, bringing this to the table and saying, "Hey, I have my own clients who know me. They already know me. I've worked with them, so they know how I am, and they are comfortable talking to me." Have that barrier for the sale isn't there anymore, and that's a big part of it. So we started, building this, and we found that this way of certifying people, um, giving them all the training, all of the tools, all of the skill that you need to have for these interviews, but also access to our platform, which just like us was something that they couldn't find anywhere
Anywhere
else.
else? Yeah.
And it really ups the value of this offer. They can sell their services for much higher prices. They can keep uh, all of the profit, actually the profit, and only pay us for the post production, which is a fraction of the cost, really. And now Legacy not only has um, the the clients, the families as a client, but also the filmmakers as partners. Actually,
Yeah.
um, it's a yearly certification, which they can pay as they like, but also it's the per interview thing, and we can focus on the post production and making this amazing platform. And we trust and we train the filmmakers to do what they do best, which is capturing and telling the stories. Yeah.
So prior to this uh, little shift here, you were and post shift, you are doing all the post production, right? So in both cases, you're doing post production.
In both cases, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, this is, business model thinking, right? So that's
Yeah.
not a comment or a criticism or anything. It's just the certification gives you an annual revenue stream, right? So that's nice. Why wouldn't you also take part of the profit? Is just not enough money involved?
It's the part of the profit that we take is for the post production,
Right.
right? It's baked in there.
Yeah.
So the profit is a huge motivator for the
Ah,
filmmakers.
yeah.
Before they would only get the day
The
rate,
daily rate.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's it. And suddenly they're also getting rewarded. It's like commission and production value and all of this together. They're doing, they're going back and forth with clients. Sometimes this goes on for months, and it's a ton of work, and they're getting rewarded for all of this, and it's a huge motivator to make the sale. Um, so we put the profit in the post-production fee. It's more like legacy's fee for every interview. But yeah, we kind of thought of it around the post-production because it's how we bring support in every interview. Also, in addition to all of the material and the brand and all the tools that we give for filmmakers to close the sale, because these filmmakers aren't salespeople,
They're
and
artists.
that's
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they're artists,
Yeah.
and training for our specific customer base, our market, is something that was a learning curve for us, and that we want to make as easy as possible for them. They have all the exact tools and tips to jump right into selling with all the know-how that we've built over the years.
So I don't know how all this works, meaning I know a bunch of filmmakers and they're amazing people and they're so particular and fastidious, and especially if they're highly skilled with the equipment, so on and so on, right? We have a studio here that we use, and we know the guys like they're friends, and they're super cool, right? They know exactly what they're doing, always surprise us. So I'm saying I don't know it, but I know it from the other side, right? If I am a documentary filmmaker and I go interview somebody that whether you sold them or they sold them, and then it goes into post production and they see the end result, are they often it seems to me like they would tend to want to know that their work ended up looking really good. And does that is there pushback on that, or do you guys do such great post production that they're going, holy shit, mine would have never looked like this. Thanks. I did all the raw stuff and you guys dressed it up, right? Is it basically how it works out?
Yeah, we know what it's like to work as a filmmaker. We have filmmakers in the team, so this wasn't something that we were asking without knowing. Um, I have been there. No, we have been there. We know how it works. We know what we can ask you to do, what we shouldn't, what is a pain, right? And we took certain measures for that. One is we shoot in log. Is a setting in the camera that um, the raw footage looks really gray. It mutes the colors, and we, as Legacy in our post production, we give it our own look. It's almost like a blank slate where we can really bring out the colors that we want. We can make it. We can provide quality assurance essentially. We can make it match last year's and your neighbors and your friends. So we've taken all of this into account, and we have yet to have any filmmaker say like, I would have done it differently. The only the only comment that I've gotten is, "This looks amazing. I'm so happy."
That's great.
Truly. And I mean, for, in terms of things going wrong, things have gone wrong, of
Of
course,
course, yeah.
in every part. I think this is something that now that you bring it up, I'm really surprised that we've never gotten any bad comments on it. It's always, "This looks beautiful. I'm so happy."
That's
Yeah.
great. Production value, I think, is undervalued by the general. People know it when they see it, but they don't know what it took to get it there, right? Like a lot of other
Yes.
things, right? Uh,
In terms of making it look high quality and having a high production value, um, there's this curve with diminishing returns where if you bring all of the equipment and you set it up like a professional studio, there's a point where it's going to look a bit better, not that much better, but a bit better, but it's going to make the client much more uncomfortable, or it's going to take much longer. They're going to be looking at their phones and their watch and wondering, when is this person going to get out of my house?
right.
I'm already done, and
Yeah.
I'm exhausted because you're talking about your life and your experience, and it's taxing. So that was also a big part of building this, finding the sweet spot of getting most of the look and the quality, the production quality look, having the client be super happy with how it looks, but also, you know, taking care of their experience and their comfort. Their comfort is super important for this because, as I said, the actual sit down interview experience is a huge part of this. This has to be uh, a really enjoyable experience, and they need to feel really comfortable in their home with this person. So yeah, that that balance is something super important for legacy.
What is so special about the platform?
So
And we
with
didn't plan on
yeah,
doing this, and you can show it to us if you want.
I can do it right now. Actually, I was just tweaking it. I'll show it to you here. Here we go. You can see it, right?
Yeah, totally.
Perfect. That is Josh. Josh is one of our founding investors. He is awesome. His family is lovely, and they've done a few years of these interviews. This first look is one of the awesome features that people love. As you said yourself, Arthur, most people aren't accustomed to being shot this way, to having a video portrait like this. It tends to be reserved for what would you call it? Famous celebrities,
Yeah,
famous people.
celebrities. Yeah.
And and even for them, it's not even about their life. It's about their work, or it's about gossip, or this is about them. And it's not being published on any TV. It's just for you, and it's for the people you love. And when they log in and they see themselves on something that looks like Netflix, it's really flattering.
Yeah.
It makes you feel so good. Um, because and this is something that I had this awesome experience with one potential customer. He actually ended up doing the interview too. He was telling me how he had filmed on his phone his grandma. She was she was getting really old. She was starting to lose some of her memory, and he wanted to do this interview. So he put up the phone and he interviewed her. And my response, of course, was, that's amazing that you have this memory of her. But he was super upset. He was upset at um, not at having this interview, but he was upset at the video, the format. And
Uh,
in going back and forth, what I ended up realizing is he wasn't. It was super important for him that this looked, or that this matched in some way how much he loved his grandma, and he felt that it didn't honor her. And that is something that we have in mind when doing this. We want you to feel that your stories are being honored, they're being showed, in a beautiful frame, right?
Yeah,
And
gave it the proper attention that you arguably would think it deserves in
that it
terms of
deserves
the
exactly.
quality. Yeah. So
And yeah,
I'm looking, go ahead.
yeah. I mean, this is just the first view. If we go down, then we bring up all the different
Nice.
clips. Um, they refresh so that you always have a different clip going on. I'm gonna mute Josh. Um, we do all these timestamps, and we jump through the questions so that you don't have to scroll through. You can just jump right into the video, and right into the clip that you're looking for. You can jump to other videos. You can see the kids, and jump between the years. That's also something that we love doing. Josh has done a few years, and seeing his kids grow has been amazing. I'm not going to show much more because, of course, it's private. This is
Yeah,
only
right.
with his permission that we do.
Yeah.
But just a few snippets is is okay. Um, that's
So
some
they
of the things that make
obviously
this platform
prepared
really
for
special.
this, meaning, they chose their clothes, they did their hair, whatever, whatever. Is there usually makeup involved?
Um, Not usually. I mean, if they want to, yes.
Yeah.
What we try to say is, this is something for your future self. So if you have a shirt that you're for some reason using every day now, use it. Like, use it today,
Yeah.
because it's something that maybe in a few years you'll cringe, or you'll say, "Oh, do
Right.
you remember that shirt that I lost in whatever?" But I love that shirt, or something that's representative of this moment in your life. If that's wearing a lot of makeup, then that's awesome. If that's being fully natural, because that's totally
Got it.
up to the
Yeah.
person. Um, they need to feel good about what we film. I think that's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Um,
Super
would
cool.
you like me to keep this up, or should I stop sharing?
You can stop it now. Yeah. I mean, it keeps on looping, so it's fine. We saw it. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, we've seen it
Beautiful.
already.
Yeah. 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 I really like the idea that it's not just on YouTube and anybody can see it, right? Yeah. I mean, that by
Yeah,
itself
and
is, I mean, you can password protect anything, but that's still, once you put it on YouTube, it's no longer yours.
yeah, and people's privacy for this is so important. Because not only because just having your privacy is important, but also if they know that no one will see this apart from them and the people that they love, um, then they'll be more comfortable sharing things.
Yeah.
They'll be more comfortable saying things that when I said that celebrities, famous people, people with public personas get interviewed sharing their life. The things they say there are not the ones they share with family and friends. The things you say to someone you love are not the ones you share with the world. We want you to be comfortable sharing those things here. Um, and for that, you need to be reassured of all the many things that we've talked about during the podcast. So yeah, having people's privacy protected in that way really goes a long way to actually having a product and a final result that they will love, and that future them will thank them, thank the past them for for doing. Yeah.
So what do you see? I'm curious about the stats on the back end.
Hmm.
Once you finish, you're complete with a video and you give it to the family, do they watch, is there 15 views and then it's not viewed again for another year? Like how does that end up, you know, working
You
out?
know, as a designer, that is super interesting, because getting into the behavioral science of it, how do people watch this? Um, Also, studying that is a way to understand and to make this more comfortable for them. But we have truly found everything. We have some people who watch it once and they will not watch it again, maybe till next year. Um, People who have said out loud, I don't want to watch this for maybe a few years because I'm not comfortable watching myself talk. Some people have that, and I totally get it. Um, some people watch it every day. We've
No
had that
shit.
too.
Wow.
No shit. Yeah. Um, some people watch it 20 times in one day and they shared it with all their friends.
Ah,
And then they never watch it again.
yeah.
So, um, for some, and I think this is the most common thing. Um, they watch it during the holidays or in the breaks that they get when they get together with family. Um, this is something that I'm supposing, right? We only see numbers, but the
Right.
numbers and the dates coincide with moments that I think they would probably be with family. So it varies a lot. I think the family ritual of sitting down and watching it um, is some of the things that most often happen, and some watch it right before doing their next one too.
Well,
So
that makes a
they
lot of
can also
sense. Yeah. Yeah.
they can also comment on what they saw, and maybe they watch it the night before, so they have it really fresh. And I can ask them because, of course, if they have the same interviewer, um, you know, the next year, they can, you know, check up on them and be like, "Hey, you mentioned this last year. How did it go?" I don't know. Josh ran an ultra marathon the week after our interview, so he had forgotten himself. And in the other one, we were like, "How did that go?" He was like, "Oh, do you remember? Yes,
Yeah.
that
Right.
happened right after." And it's a great moment. It's a great moment. Yeah,
Wow. So do 10% of the people re-up the next year or subsequent years?
I would say it's actually a big number. It's I would say more than half
That's
want to
great.
do it
So there's the
because
recurring
yeah,
revenue for you.
yes,
Look, I always think
it's a
about
yearly
business
thing.
models, so forgive me, but that's,
That's
uh,
perfect.
the, yeah. I want to know how many people get divorced after they haven't done this.
That's really funny because till now, no one has gotten divorced
Yeah.
and families are still together. One thing I say when I get that, people ask me like, "Hey, what happens if like my life changes really drastically for whatever reason?" And the exercise of doing this is part of it. Part of it is that life changes. Is that some people want to do it in the big moments, like oh I got married or my daughter got married. They want to do it there, um, but then life happens in the middle too. Life
Of
doesn't
course.
stop at only the big moments, and some of them, as I've said before, you don't see coming.
Yeah.
So I think that's really part of it. Also, um, we don't prepare these questions. We don't. We're not going to tell you what I'm going to ask you. But there's no gotcha questions.
Right, right.
We're not trying to
You're not
get
some
a
journalist that's trying to promote an agenda on the fake news, right? Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We want you to be comfortable and give you all of the opportunities to share the full picture.
Yeah.
And but some people have said like, oh, I forgot to mention this and that. But that's also part of it. What's top of mind in that moment is part of what we're capturing. What you say and what you leave out is also part of it. Maybe it's something you'll say next year. Maybe you'll reflect on it and say like, "Hey, I realized I was feeling this way in that week, and for whatever reason I didn't mention it, but that's part of it too. That's part of it too. That's life."
That's awesome. What about the legal issues around? I'll give you an example. I I divorced, and my ex-wife, rather than trying to cut me out of the pictures of all our family stuff, she wanted to make sure she got copies of everything. So she wanted all that legacy stuff, right? Which is nice, right? It's fine. In the case where you interview somebody, the husband and wife are there, they get divorced. The wife's really pissed. Let's just pick on the wife for a minute. And she goes, I want out. How's that work?
Well, um, we haven't gotten that yet,
Yeah.
luckily, but I think that it's a shared thing. We would need to discuss it. There are videos that are going to be just about her, videos just about him. Um, they're going to be shared videos too. And maybe by the time that happens, AI is so advanced that I just say cut this person out and
Yeah,
it
right.
does so immediately.
Yeah.
That would save me so much trouble. I think that's my answer.
Yeah,
My
that's
answer
good
is
answer.
AI is
Yeah.
going to be so good that it's going to solve my problem, and that's
Exactly.
my answer.
Well,
Yeah.
isn't AI so good now that your editors can just use one of the programs that do the timestamps, do the editing, do the clip outs, do the uh the words, what do they call it? Subtitles. Uh
Mhm.
like can't you just like hit a button, it runs through that, and then you have it, and then you can edit it from there? Is it that good now? I mean, I've
That
seen it
would really
for our pedestrian world out here, not advanced stuff that you're doing, and it works.
that would solve many of my problems. That would solve many of my problems. But for long form interviews, it's not yet that working that well. Also, we have we have two cameras and the
Oh, right.
audio, and it's a
Yeah,
bit more complicated. It is getting there though,
yeah,
and always for us, we are very. I mean, we're not against AI. AI solves many problems for everyone, but um, we are very, committed to this being very human first. Um, but if this makes our editor's life much easier, um, we're encouraging them to leverage it. They're
yeah,
going to get more out of it. Um, they're going to get to edit more interviews, to deliver more interviews to people, um, you know, faster. So I think it's better for everyone. If I mean, if there comes a point where I just click a button, I put a prompt, and it gives me exactly what I want, that would be awesome.
that
It's
would
not
be
there
yeah,
yet
right.
because, and I'll tell you, we shoot in 4K. We're gonna give you the best of the best. And on Friday, I got a 1 terabyte interview, which was slow to download, of course, but dealing with 1 terabyte, with 100 gig files is hard for AI too, and it stutters and it hallucinates. So
Wow.
I think it
Yeah,
will get there. I think it will get there, but it's not there just yet. I'm
yeah,
talking with some founders though, some Silicon Valley founders who have very interesting things going on, and I'm like, hey guys, I want to be one of your testers. So we'll see how that goes.
yeah. We just interviewed a really nice guy, Yishan Wong, who was the CEO of Reddit.
Oh wow.
And he was also a COO or something of Facebook for, I mean, he's one of the legacy Silicon Valley guys. It, kindly introduced to us by our friends at Mercury, who are, fintech company, super nice folks. And one of the things he said in building tech companies that even the most skilled engineers tend to miss, and I found this really fascinating and those totally makes sense, is that you want to, if you're going to scale a business, you want to build it on the foundation of tools that have been used and well known that also break, but you know how to fix them, right? If you build it on new tools and they break, you don't know how to fix them. And then that's where the scaling problem comes in, right? Because everything breaks. But if they're stuff that's been used for years and people know how to fix the stuff fast, right? Anyway, it was an interesting observation.
Yeah. I think in that regard, legacy is very well positioned because what we do is very artisanal, right?
Yeah,
Almost
that's a
artisanal.
good word. That's a
It's
good word for it. Yeah.
it's a human conversation. It's something that's been going on for years and years and years. And capturing a human conversation and putting it and showing it in the best light can be done in a billion ways. So it's something that even as we, advance and technology develops, I think it's something that at the core is so simple, so basic, and so human, that it's almost unbreakable, right?
Yeah.
We'll use the tools and update them, and we might use this file delivery, this other file delivery, but if in the end the nuclear fallout takes us all out, and there are no more digital cameras, we can still cut the films
Right.
and snip
That's
them
wild.
together,
Yeah.
and that's gonna work.
Wow.
We're that committed, even through the apocalypse. We'll do your videos.
So we talked about uh, how this applies to family offices, and have you had any luck infiltrating that business at all?
We've gotten some warm intros now, and the response we get from every family office is, "We've been looking for something like this. Like, where were you guys?"
Yeah.
So again, I would say it's early for what legacy um, thinks of time. We are in the infant stage of the company. We started in 2023, late 2023. So for something that's generational, we're just starting out. So there isn't that much publicity. We haven't been, putting ourselves out there that much. So I mean, it makes sense that they haven't uh, yet met us. But when they do, they're super happy. And the people who have done these warm intros have sometimes said, I've been asked by these people, can you interview us? Can you do something like this? And the response was always, sure, I think I don't know how to do this. I think we can put a camera and see how that goes. Um, but finding us is usually a very happy moment for them. So
Yeah.
we started getting more clients on that end, and it really, you know, coincides with what they're trying to keep and to protect and to develop, which is their legacy. Right? It might be their financial legacy, it might be right, but it's still dealing with um, passing on the family torch and this generational experience. So they are a very, very natural partner for us. Yeah.
And what I've seen as it relates to pushback is there's so many family offices that would like to do this, but they're super private. Like people don't even know who they are. So they would want it siloed so only their family could see it because, I mean, take it to the extreme, kidnapping, blah, 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 the whole thing, right? So, they're super, super cautious. And people ask me all the time, says, wow, you have 5,000 family offices. They're members of your organization. Why don't you introduce me? And I go, what are you talking about? Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Exactly.
you understand what kind of quite a question you just asked? Yeah. So it's a whole thing. Um, are you raising money now?
We're My answer to that question is always sure,
Yeah,
sure, I
right.
guess. We're very lucky to be a lightweight company because of how we work with contractors and with freelancers. We don't have that many people on our payroll, so we're always on the green. We're always positive. We're doing fine, but we're always open to getting partners who align with our views and with our values. So with every new one that comes, which luckily again, most are clients. They're clients who had their interview and they said this is something really special. Like this is special. I want to be a part of it. I want to be a part of it. And I want to give you all the tools that I have and push you guys. I want you to succeed. I want this to be here for when my kids are older. So I'm going to help you. And we are happy to take those guys. We've had, conversations with VC firms. Some understandably say like, hey, I I don't see like an explosive thing, and that's fine. Which is, I think that would come at the expense of the core that makes legacy special. So I think this new way of going about legacy's business model is really going to scale up fast because of the response we're getting from filmmakers and because of how motivated they are. So I'm really not worried about it. But you know, the the principal reason, the main reason I would like to have more investors is to improve the platform. We want to have that product be the best it can.
Yeah.
Um, right? It's not a public company. We're not. It's I want to improve our product. That is the main thing. And if we can do that, that's awesome. If we can do that with partners that understand us and that are really here for the core values that we have, that would be great. So I guess the answer is yes. Yes, we're raising.
Yeah. So, super. Yeah. You're probably not good for VCs in the current VC construct, despite what they say about themselves. Most VCs want to see an exit because they'll flush 90% of the companies and hope that the 5% puts the numbers up on the board so they can raise the next fund. I mean, it's just the model. It's not, not have anything to do with you. It's just the model, right? And so they'll throw a lot of money at you, hoping that you'll be the next unicorn. And if you're not, they'll just flush it, right? They'll just say, forget it, we're done, right? And like I said, that's a harsh criticism, but accurate one. I think most people would agree. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah. I think the in that sense, the best thing for us for a VC firm would be being acquired by a company who wants to keep this running and that this can be a part of their service. I see this as a real possibility because of many companies that we've talked to who are very aligned, who are very legacy coded. Um, who think of legacy as something that like this could be absolutely something that is part of the package, and that could be an exit. But in terms of exploding this and selling, I just want to give an amazing product to people. I just want to give them something that is going to be here for years and years, and that is my main focus. So yeah,
so Fidelity is still a private company, the big mutual fund complex in Boston.
yeah, okay,
And they're I'm just connecting the dots, right? I'm not suggesting anything. But a company like that has a big family office practice, like inside, because you can be somebody making $30,000 a year and give them $100 a month and be their customer. But they have a family office practice also. And so that's the type, and because they're private, not to say that they're going to not ever become public, but they've stayed private. They're owned primarily by the daughter. And, that's the type of thing that would be a, a exit for you that would probably keep legacy a legacy, right? Uh,
yeah.
I could see that be more interesting than being wrapped up in a company just so they can say, "Oh, we have another component here that values the company another point or two, and then they go public, and that's the end of it, right?" Yeah,
Yeah, that may be.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So super interesting. So this has been great. Really appreciate you. I'm glad we had the first chat on the intro thing. It was super fun, and this has been exceptional. I really appreciate it, Martin. Yeah.
Thank you, Arthur.
Yeah.
It's been great, and getting your sights on your view on the family office thing and legacy. Um, it also helped us see this new future that we're looking at. So thank you
Yeah,
again, and
yeah.
thank you for having me. It's been great.
I'm hope it was helpful. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll make sure we get this out to you and share it with everybody. And if you can just stay on once I stop the recording for a second, that'd be great. Thank you all for being with us today. Stay tuned for another episode of Arthur's Round Table. We'll post this and let you know when the new one's coming. Thanks very much. Bye bye, everybody.